Okay, so today's episode is personal because I actually talked to a new age person back in 2020 in regards to the issue of my weight. And this person, he actually said something really similar to what Aaron Doughty is saying in this video. So I wanted to go ahead and react to this just because I do think that this is a very common narrative in regards to weight loss. I think that a lot of people, rightfully so, see an issue with the mainstream take on weight loss, etc., and they look for alternative solutions because something is definitely off in the way that we talk about these topics. And I just want to say that I don't know that every single alternative is necessarily better, but I do want to see what he says in this video. I actually have not seen this. I used to watch Aaron back in 2020, and I just think that this is going to be fun. So let's see what one of the new age takes of weight loss will bring. So it says here, how to lose weight by changing your self-image. How Secret to Really Changing for the Better with Aaron Doughty. What? How Secret to Really Changing for the Better. Love that.
Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people.
I will just say this is him back. It's like 5 years old, so I'll give him like a shred of credit. This is an old video. This is old tea. But I just, I thought it would be fun. So, I don't know. I'm allowed to have fun on YouTube. Okay, you guys?
Expand their consciousness. Now, this video.
Say it along with him if you know it. No, I'm just kidding. I know some of you guys used to follow him.
I'll be sharing with you how to lose weight by changing your self-image. Now, if you've ever wondered why people can go on diets and they never seem to work, one of the main reasons is that a diet...
One of the main reasons is hypothyroidism not being addressed properly. But let's see what he says.
...is temporary, and that when people go on a diet, they don't change the way that they view themselves. And because of that...
Okay, already this is not true. A lot of times people, their view of themselves actually goes down as they diet. So that's not true, Aaron.
Because one of the strongest human desires there is to remain consistent to the way that we define ourselves. It's like that old self-image continues to run itself out, and even though they might go through a diet, they know it's only temporary, and that their story about who they are, the way that they view themselves, sooner or later will start to take over again.
I think that the more accurate way of interpreting this, Aaron, would be to say that people want easy fixes. They don't want to make actual changes to their habits. One of my best friends, I was talking to her about her hypothyroidism, which she's actually very thin. She actually undereats chronically. And I told her the steps that she would have to take. And she said, but I do the opposite of all that. And I said, yes. And that's why you have hypothyroidism. You have to change to get better. And she was like, oh my gosh, really? And I was like, yes, like it won't get better if you don't change your behavior, if you don't change what you're doing. So I don't know that it's so much that people don't want their identity to change or care about being consistent or these kind of things. I think it's that a lot of people are creatures of habit. A lot of people, once they were taught something as a child, it's difficult for them to see something in a different way because most people don't think about health that much. It's not really the top of your consciousness, especially when you're young, because you typically aren't worried about it unless if there's already something wrong with you, or unless if there's already health issues or disabilities or just other things going on in regards to health, you typically won't think about it. I always had to because I was morbidly obese from a young age, but other people not necessarily. So I just think Okay. All right, Erin. Let's see.
So, understanding the benefit of changing our self image is huge for this process because when we change our self image, we then change who we are being in the moment. And based upon who we are being in the moment, that's what's going to determine what we experience on the outside. Now, more important than the way other people see you is the way you view you. And when you go out into the world, you are projecting your self image, and other people are responding to that self image that you have about yourself.
Okay, so this is already completely wrong. I don't know if he's just saying this about real life, but for anybody that has had any kind of online presence, which again, even for me, it's not like I'm a huge YouTuber, not at this point. Hopefully someday, no, I'm just kidding, but not. You know what? Let's start manifesting in the spirit of Aaron. Hopefully someday I will be a bigger YouTuber, and not bigger as in fatter for the record. But anyways, no, I think I've been on YouTube for a while, and I've had different eras, so to speak, of my YouTube journey. And one of the things that I notice so easily is just how no matter what my self image is, people see what they want to see, especially online, but not even just online, actually, even in real life. People will see what they want to see when it comes to you. Even somebody like one of my other best friends, he dates a lot, and guys just see him as they want to see him in person, live in the flesh. So I already am completely disagreeing with what Aaron said, but let's go on.
So there are many benefits to changing the self image, but one of the benefits of changing the self image can be to change the self image in correlation with losing weight. So a lot of people will view themselves as overweight and they will become attached to the label that says, I am this type of person. I have a slow metabolism, I'm big boned, whatever the label is. Understand, the more we attach to the label, the more the label has power over us.
Okay, so I would say there is some truth to this. What I will say is it is extremely toxic to identify with a treatable illness or a treatable health issue that you have. It's very, very toxic. People do this all the time with mental health, like on TikTok, for example. Uh, Sorry, Gen Zs, but Gen Zs, you guys do this majorly with treatable mental illness. You make it a part of your identity. It's the same thing with especially, you know, treatable physical illnesses like hypothyroidism, or one of the symptoms of such can be obesity, morbid obesity. To identify with something medical like that is very toxic for a lot of different reasons. So, yes, 1 point for Gryffindor. No, I'm just kidding. 1 point for Aaron here.
So the first part of this process is simply deciding to let go of the story that we tell ourselves, realize that we are not a victim of our past, we are who we choose to be in the present moment. Now realize that what we do from the point of letting go of the old self-image and just simply deciding that it no longer serves us, it was something that we cling to, but it no longer needs to be what we continue to perpetuate. We can decide to let it go because we can just logically see that it doesn't serve us anymore. And from this point of view, we can realize that what will really change our life is by changing who we are being in the present moment. So a powerful process for doing this is to start to imagine ourselves getting in shape. Now, this doesn't have to be so dramatic at first, meaning it could be hard to believe that if we are 300 pounds.
Okay, I don't agree. So I actually think he's completely wrong. As somebody who is currently on a long term, drastically big weight loss journey where I have to lose close to 200 pounds in total, it is not helpful to constantly think about my body changing. It's not helpful to constantly think about what I could be or what I would be. it's much more helpful to maintain a sense of bodily neutrality and checking up on where I'm at, looking at trends, progress, and reflecting on my overall health throughout the months and how it's improving, how it's shifting, and what adjustments need to be made at different times. As I've said to you guys before, and I will reiterate it again, when you are on a long-term weight loss journey, it is important to reassess and make adjustments probably around every 3 months. So every season is a really good time. When the seasons change, it's a good idea to reflect on your strategy and see what's going on and what you need to adjust, whether that's lowering your calories a bit more, whether that's starting the gym or not, whether that's having, looking at the medications you're taking, talking to a doctor about it, right? Or like for me, I take some supplements. I need to reflect on that. Like I changed it when it got to winter. That's useful. It's not useful to always think about what my body will look like, because as somebody who can identify with your physical state, and this is why it's very difficult to lose weight in terms of like an addiction standpoint, if this is the frame that you want to look at it, because how your body looks, it is inherently a part of who you are. So who you are is changing on a weight loss journey, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. We change every single day. As you guys know, none of us are the same as we were when we were a baby, right? We've changed. That's fine. But to constantly lean into that, harp on that, it can be dangerous to me, I think. Just because if you are constantly fixated on an idealized version of yourself, it can create distance between you and that idealized version of you is not real, and it may never exist anyway. So, and it's just pointless. It's not to say that you can't be in shape or you can't do this or you can't do that. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying that weight loss is difficult enough. It's awkward enough to have your body shifting, and to constantly harp onto yourself and focus on the outcome of it, the final outcome. It's a little shaky, and in my opinion, it can lead to more anxiety, because you're already prone to anxiety, and you don't want to have when you're hypothyroid and you're losing weight, you're already prone to anxiety. You don't want to create anxiety about your weight loss process, because it can create a rift between you and the weight loss. So I hope that makes sense. I'm sticking to it. I think about my body as it is today. I don't think about it as it could be all the time. Maybe I do occasionally, but I don't harp on that. It's not that helpful. It really isn't. Really, the behaviors, staying strong when you need to stay strong with different aspects of the diet, etc. That is what's helpful. Trying to stay within your calorie limits, you're healthy, not drastic deficit that you're on. That is a good way to do it. I know some other people, they'll do very limited intermittent fasting, and it has worked on this protocol as well. But that's what you're focusing on. You're focusing on those type of steps and behaviors, not the way your body looks and not who you are necessarily. Like it can be a huge distraction and cause a lot of anxiety that's not necessary.
Imagine ourselves being 150 pounds and, running 10 miles a day. But the idea behind this is to start and simply decide that we're going.
Some of those habits are not even healthy. Running 10 miles a day is not healthy. I'm not going to judge anybody who loves to do it. I think there's something to going through pain, causing yourself pain for spiritual growth purposes. It's the same thing as a fast, going vegan or keto. Those are versions of fasts. I think there are spiritual benefits to fasts and stuff like that, but there is not that big of a physical benefit, and it's way overdrawn. People way over exaggerate it, and none of those things should ever be a lifestyle, in my opinion.
To start to view ourselves in a new light, and that as we view ourselves in a new light, we are going to back it up with the action of
And I will also say, if you are morbidly obese or super morbidly obese, do not do drastic fasting. Do not run 10 miles a day. Do not do anything very harsh. Your body is already in a difficult state. It's already sick. So it's not the time to challenge it in that way. You need to go slow, gentle, steady. That's what you need to do.
Being that version of ourselves. Now, an easy way to realize this is to realize that there are an infinite number of ourselves, that based upon who we're being in the moment and who we are embodying, the version of ourselves we're embodying, that's what's going to determine what we experience, almost like the probabilities of what we could experience. Now, any time that we...
Okay, I can't think of a way of thinking about this that would give you more anxiety than this. This is an anxiety attack waiting to happen.
Change the way that we view ourselves and we start to take action, what we are doing are opening up those probabilities for us to experience the desired outcome that we have. So the key to this is understanding that we must condition the action as well as how we view ourselves, and that as we begin to do that, we begin to shift ourselves to the version that we prefer. So to do this, what we can do is a powerful exercise right now. Begin to visualize yourself being in the ideal weight that you have. And if that's too hard for you to imagine, just imagine yourself where you can imagine and have that belief about the preferred weight you have. So
yeah, this is not helpful. I can tell you, as somebody who's losing currently, your body looks awkward as you're losing weight. It's weird. It feels like puberty. It's like another form of puberty. And it's very strange. And so, like, a lot of times when I look too much at myself in the mirror, I start to get weirded out by it. You know, why does my belly look like that? Why is this changing but this isn't? It's just, it leads to too many questions, you know? And I think when you try to imagine yourself in a certain way, the transitionary point, so the point between A and B, is not going to look like that whatsoever. And so it's really hard to actually connect the dots that way. I think it's much better to just focus on yourself in the moment and look at yourself. And I look at myself and I go, okay, my top roll, the roll up here, right underneath the girls. The girls are not as dramatic as they used to be, but right underneath the girls, that roll right there where my liver is smaller. It's very much smaller than it was. And I look at pictures from months ago or a year ago, that's very much smaller. That is a sign that my fatty liver is going away. Okay, got it. It's real. It shows. It's there. It's progress. It's enough for me. And it really is helpful to look at that kind of stuff, because when you're doing it right, it's a slow process, and sometimes it can feel like nothing is happening. So I do agree with keeping track of it, but I don't agree with the imagining of it. That's not helpful, Erin. It's weird, because what you imagine and what will happen is probably not going to be the same, and it certainly won't be the same in the in-between. When you're in the middle of the journey, it's not going to be like that at all. So I don't think this is helpful whatsoever.
If you're 300 pounds, you're like, I can't imagine myself at 150. I'll imagine myself at 220 or whatever.
I am currently 50.1% body fat, which my body is like, bitch, I am not giving you that 49. Like, you must. Like, my body wants me to bow down to the floor and beg to get under 50%. But I'm supposed to be around 17%. Maybe 25. That would be like, I'm probably not going to die, but it's still a bit too much. But 17% is my actual end goal. I am in such a different striata, I can't even imagine what that will be like. I don't even want to try, because it's so completely alien. And the thing is, like, you just go from, I started, when I got that magical scale, I was 55.7. I'm now 50.1. The journey between those points, between 55, 54, 53, there are these little tiny steps, and it's not hard to imagine. I can imagine what I'll look like at 49% body fat really easily if I wanted to imagine something. But to go so far, it's just not helpful at all. That's all. And again, if you're feeling overwhelmed with the whole idea of it, look at it in tiny steps. So I look at it as I'm trying to get under 50. I'm almost there. Then I'll be trying to get under 45 because that will put me in a different bracket. Under 45% body fat, I won't be super morbidly obese anymore. So it's like that's, you kind of go step by step, and that's so much better than what he's saying.
This. And as you begin to imagine that, begin to see the kind of habits that you'll have. You'll realize that maybe you get up a little bit earlier in the morning.
You don't need to imagine it. There are just steps that you take, and you take it in a systematic way when you're ready to. When your body gives you the feedback that it's ready. You know, there are times when I go to the gym and times when I have to stop going to the gym because my body is not at a point where I can do it. You have to have that accountability, that connection, that mind-body connection is extremely important. And so many fat people lack this connection for so many different reasons, but you've got to reconnect with your body. Be very grounded. I think Erin is advocating for the opposite here.
Maybe you walk for the first 30 minutes of your day. Maybe you eat a different type of diet than you do now. What you can begin to do is imagine the version of you that is already in shape. You can imagine it by realizing that as you...
It's hard because a lot of times that same imagination can become something to criticize yourself with and beat yourself over the head with when you don't live up to it. I do not think this is helpful.
Begin to imagine it, you are syncing up and you are conditioning the feeling inside of you to embody that.
Yes, but then imagine it gets colder, your hypo gets worse, or it goes down a bit because your thyroid slows in winter and you can't go to the gym anymore. Now you're going to want to beat yourself in the head with a stick because you imagine yourself doing these things and you perceive it as a backtrack, even if it isn't. It's not helpful. The thing about morbidly obese and super morbidly obese people trying to lose weight, Erin, is that we're very, very easily black-pilled. Very easily. So it's like, be as gentle as you can on yourself. It's okay if you have to pick stuff up and take it down. Pick stuff up, take it down. Like, it's a process. Don't feel any kind of way. Don't feel any kind of way about it. I don't feel guilty for not going to the gym this winter. I don't. I will go when I'm ready. I will go when I'm ready. Period.
Version of yourself. And the more that you visualize it, the more that you feel into it, the more that you are starting to become that version of you. So the power of this video is then realizing that you simply decide that that is who you are now. You are the version of yourself that is in the ideal weight. And even if the physical evidence doesn't show you that, if you simply hold that frame and you decide to take action as if that were true, if a period of time...
No, Erin, you must connect with your body, the exact opposite of what he's saying. This is not helpful at all. Connect with your body. Feel the hunger. Feel the satisfaction. Feel the physical sensation of eating when you eat. Feel these things. Be very grounded. Feel how your body feels when you walk. Feel what muscles have tension and what don't. Start working on those things. Listen to your body. Your body is not trying to kill you. Your body wants to live. And it's something that's been ingrained and drilled into fat people forever, is that our body just wants us to die. Our body does not want us to die. So it's on your side. And realizing that, it has helped me immensely with my relationship with my body. And I love my body. I'm learning to love my body the more I take care of it, the more I listen, the more I integrate it into who I am and into my mind. You know, this disconnection is so toxic, but I don't know. Aaron, this ain't it, Aaron.
That will eventually be true for you. Right now, there will be an echo of the old self, meaning that based upon the way we viewed ourselves before and the action we were taking, that is what is the acute.
I used to feel this way. I used to feel how I felt, and I would hate it. And I'd hate the old me, and I'd hate who I was, and I'd hate this, and I'd hate my body, and I'd hate it. Because how dare it try to come back from the past, and how dare it try to influence what I'm doing now? How dare you? And that's not really a helpful way of looking at it at all. Like, you have to make peace with it and just be like, I thought New Age people believe what resists persists. That's something I've heard a lot of New Age people say. And I do think when it comes to the ghosts in your past, if you fight it so hard, you can kind of, it makes it last longer in a sense. You're not going to get to a healthy weight through suppression. You're not going to overcome binging through suppression. It's not going to work. It will make it worse. I promise you.
Relation of who we have been to who we are being now. But now we are aware of the idea that we can change who we're being in the present moment by imagining how the version of ourselves would act that is getting in shape or at the desired weight that we want to be, and that as we simply act in accordance to what that is, we will eventually see the reflection in our life of that reality. But the key to this is simply deciding we are going to hold that frame every night before you go to bed. A very powerful technique is to imagine you being that version of yourself, and not just visualize it, but to actually feel into it. As you are feeling into it, you are more powerfully influencing the subconscious mind. Realize that as you go to bed at night, within the 20 minutes...
The better way is to just take systematic, slow steps over months of time. That's what it is. Don't do everything at once. Don't try to, eat healthy before you start a calorie deficit. Eat healthy for a few months. Build up your nutrient stores. Don't dive into a calorie deficit. And when you do, make sure it's very, very mild. It's very mild. Eat the most you can while you can still lose. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. You go easy on yourself. You take it one step at a time, and you focus on the behaviors. You don't focus on how you look and your identity and this kind of stuff. When you focus on it and you harp on that, it can be a bigger distraction, and it gets away from the goal. The goal at the end of the day is our health. It's survival. It's a better quality of life. If you're going more for aesthetics, you are at a different phase of the journey, and God bless you. I have no issue with somebody who wants aesthetics as long as it's healthy, obviously. You don't want to do that at the cost of your health, because your health is extremely important. But for somebody who is super morbidly obese, etc., it's all about health. We are in a state where it's all about health and survival. And I don't say that to scare people, but I just say that that we take it seriously. We don't fear the moment. Don't fear yourself. Don't do that kind of stuff. But just make sure you're taking the steps and you're turning the ship around and you're going in a better direction than you were before. That's how you handle it. Not just by visualizing how you're going to look. That's not helpful.
Before you fall asleep, you are moving from a beta alpha brainwave state to a theta delta state. As you move through those brainwave states, you are having more influence over your subconscious mind, and that what you can begin to do...
If this is true, it would be more useful to think about certain habits. Think about behaviors that you're going to change. Think about different kinds of foods that you're going to eat. That's more helpful. Don't make it about you. Make it about what you're doing.
Realize that the way we communicate with our subconscious mind is through the medium of feeling. So if you can feel like that is the version of you that you prefer to be, if you can condition that feeling over and over again and start to just view yourself in that way, simply make that decision, you'll find that going forward, it is much easier for you to lose weight. Let go of the old self-image.
If you work on your hypothyroidism, get it treated, take proper diet steps, take proper, do the proper exercises, nothing too harsh, nothing gasping for breath, just walking, lifting weights, that kind of thing. If you take care of your thyroid, you will have a much easier time losing weight. That's what it's about. It's not about self-image, Erin.
Act in accordance with who you prefer to be. It might mean changing your habits, changing the way that you eat, but the only way that will become an easy process is if you start to view yourself as just that type of person. So with that being said, I hope this video helps you understand more about that. Feel free.
Just focus on developing good qualities in yourself, especially if you're using your obesity and binge eating to suppress things like anger, things like hate, things like toxicity. Not that I ever did that. But focus on yourself as far as like working on yourself and trying to develop more positive qualities or turning negative qualities into positive qualities. Most negative qualities have a good side. So my being mean can be useful because it can be being truthful or trying to, somebody may say, oh, Alex, you're so mean. You're being so mean to Erin. It's not about being mean to Erin. It's about properly educating and helping shift the conversation around weight to help fat people in general and to help fix this issue. So I turned a mean quality into something good. And you can do this with any quality. So that's much better than focusing on how you look. I mean, it's great to look good, etc. I have no issue with it, but I don't think that it's good to obsess over that. But I guess that's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was fun. Let me know what you think. Definitely like it if you like it. I probably will revisit this type of stuff later, but I'm going to spread it out just whenever I feel it, I guess. Whenever I feel it in my heart, like Erin would want. But anyways, you guys, I hope you guys have a great day, night, whatever. And I forgot to say my intro. So if you do like this type of content, I'm Graphically Alex. I'm here to talk about all things fat related. If you'd like to follow that, then subscribe. I'd love to have you. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.